Good morning. It is Friday, the 12th of May, 2023. I'm hoping that you can hear me. So I'd like you to know in the chat, can you actually hear anything? Because I'm getting nothing coming up on my sound coming out of my headphones. So I welcome everyone. I'll just say while I'm waiting to see if anyone can hear me, I'll say a big hello to Danilo, to Dave. A bit echoey, very, very echoey. Okay, hang on. Whoa, okay, how is it now? Is that better? Sound is odd, echo? Is that better? Sounds a bit robotic. There's an echo. Okay, how is it now? Is it better? Yep, that's better. Right, okay. So, welcome to Morning Brew. It is Friday, the 12th of May, 2023. I had the pleasure of meeting up in real life with Phil Morehouse yesterday. I went down to his home in North Lincolnshire, and we went out for a drink. We went out for a beer and chewed the fat in an upcoming episode of Pubcast, which will be on your screens very, very soon. And Phil, being the absolute star that he is, has given me his desktop PC. So hopefully I shouldn't be running into those problems with the CPU burning out at 100% while I'm trying to stream. But teething problems, I just went go live at past, and it came up that my NVIDIA, what are they called? Drivers needed to be updated, and it was just like, oh my god, not right now. So that explains the slight lateness this morning. But I'm here now, and that's what matters. I need to just move my move my screen across a little bit because oh no, can I do that? Yeah, I can do that. Why not? So my green screen is appearing in the background here. See, that's my green screen. It's going to be funny when it falls over and you see the radiator behind me. Right, anyway, does slow mode just affect everyone or just me? Everyone, except me. It doesn't affect me. The problem was we had people putting loads and loads of comments in, and it was pushing everyone else's comments off the screen. And at the time, I could only see on my monitor the comments that I couldn't scroll up and down the comments. I could only see the ones that are on the screen. So if one person was just like, bah, 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 it was kind of annoying. Sound good, better. I can hear you, a tad echoey. It shouldn't be echoey anymore. It should be working now. I'll just double check on the settings to make sure that it's not still doing. Yeah, no, it's good. It should be coming out of this Yeti. Okay, leave the green screen alone, man. It's breaking my immersion. I'm actually in this kind of warehouse stroke cafe in, I don't know, Soho somewhere. Been on slow mode for years. I've been on slow mode. That's plumbed up. Yeah, it's fine now. Okay, a couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, I'd like to show you the video of this, but I don't know if the audio will work because it isn't playing the audio on my headphones when I play it. But what I'll do is I'll play a little bit of it, right? And if you can hear it, let me know in the chat, and we'll watch the rest of it together. Should we do that? Should we just a little experiment on Morning Brew live? Graham comments very transitory. Only disenfranchised get to contribute. You're not going to make us pay Poey to make them? No. What? Hey, no. You literally just left a comment for free, mate. Like did she just come up on this? Anyway, right. I don't know. Anyway, so here we go. Can you let me know if you can hear the audio on this, because I can't hear the audio.
To your satisfaction.
Okay, it should be on now.
Order. That is
Sorry about the GB
not acceptable. No. Who do you think you're speaking to, Secretary?
Yes. Oh, good. Vendetta says yes. So I can't hear this, but you can.
I am the defender of this house and these benches on both sides. I am not going to be spoken to by a Secretary of State who is absolutely not accepting my ruling. Take it with good grace and accept it that members should hear it first, not a WMS or what you decide. These members have been elected by their constituents, and they have the right to hear it first. And it is time this government recognised we're all elected, we're all members of Parliament, and use the correct manners. Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, I apologise. What I was trying to say was that I'm very sorry that I did not meet the standards which
so
you would
that
expect of Secretaries of State. Forgive my language. But
well and truly
what I have been trying to do is make sure that I provide as much clarity as possible. So I am actually very pleased to be coming to the House to speak. I'm very pleased to be coming to the House to speak on this issue. I have written a written ministerial statement to explain that yesterday we tabled.
Rude. So I'll just knock that off. And then hopefully you can still hear me. He's found his balls. He hasn't got his cup of tea yet. That's why he's so cranky. He needs his cup of tea. No, he is actually, found his balls. That's what a lot of people thought. So what's happened here is that there's a huge, big news story, which was that this government had legislated to destroy like 4,000 EU laws for no reason whatsoever, other than they originated in the EU. Now, I want you to just imagine for a moment how stupid that attitude is. It's a bit like saying, hey, I know, let's get rid of that law against murder because it originated in the Middle East. You know, Mount Sinai, Ten Commandments. Yeah. It didn't originate on these islands, so let's get rid of murder as a crime. Yeah. And I said, well, why would you do that? Why would you possibly think that would be a good idea? Well, because we don't like foreigners, and they made rules for us, and we follow those rules to this day that were made in other countries, like the Ten Commandments. And we don't like them. And you look at it going, but the UK government had to vote on every one of those laws in the past. Over the last 50 years, they would have had to vote on those laws for them to become British laws. And there was an interview with Michael Heseltine, who was a member of Margaret Thatcher's cabinet back in the 80s. But, you know, he's all right. He's all right. And he was saying that when he was a minister, he would write to industry leaders, to companies, to corporations and CEOs and say, here's the legislation. Is there any way of making this better? And he never got any responses. He never got any replies because they were like, no, it's fine. It's like, this is the new law for this particular industry. Yeah, there's nothing we can do to it to make it better. Now, when I say make it better, i.e., so here's the minimum. So if you pay someone, if you say people can only work 40 hours a week, say that's a minimum, you know, maximum, I should say, from the EU. You can only work 40 hours a week. That's fine for the British government to then bring that onto their books. That's the minimum, right? They can make it 38 hours a week or 35 hours a week if they so wished. They could do that. They have it in their power to make these EU laws even stronger or you know, using them as a baseline to have better protection against environmental pollution or wage stagnation or whatever rules they want to make, you know, trade between nations. They can go a step further and have better regulations, can have better standards. It's just the baseline. But there were just hundreds of laws about things like the wildlife of this country, you know, protecting wildlife, and the government's like, no, we're going to get rid of them. Anyway, the thing is about revoking or rewriting or burning. I think they used the word burn. They used the verb burn. Burning these laws is that you have to enact new laws to replace them. You can't just get rid of a bunch of laws and regulations. And the idea of government, which historically creates a handful of laws each year. I mean, seriously, it's not that many laws. It's really not that many laws that Parliament make each. It's not that. It's nowhere near 4,000. It is nowhere even close to 4,000. So this was another Brexiteer, fantasist, nonsense, bullshit that we have unfortunately become accustomed to over the last 13 years of the Tory sewage party being in control of this country. So anyway, Rishi Sunak, in his failed campaign to become leader, don't forget, he lost to a woman who lost to a lettuce. It showed him shredding EU documents. So the fact that they've absolutely 100% U-turned on this policy is quite big news. You wouldn't know that, though, because the government didn't really make a big song and dance about it, not least by going to Parliament and having a debate and announcing it in Parliament. So it could be asked, the question could be asked about it. No, they submitted it as a weapon of mass destruction or something. A written member, a written members declaration. Yeah, WMD. No, I'm just making that up. They wrote a letter, right? Kimmy Badenoch wrote a letter saying we're going to get rid of this, and then a lot of MPs read about it in the Telegraph newspaper, and Lindsay Hoyle was absolutely and quite rightly furious that Kemi Badenoch hadn't actually, told Parliament, stood up and made an oral declaration that they were going to scrap this major piece of legislation that was going to scrap 4,000 major pieces of legislation. I mean, it's quite big. It's quite big. And they chose to bury it on a Wednesday after Prime Minister's questions. I mean, it was just, it was a bit embarrassing for all concerned for the Tories. I can understand why they would want to bury it. But they're not allowed to do that under the Commons rules. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Tories do not care about the rules. They do not care about anything. But most of all, they don't care about the fact that there are certain rules that they feel are for the little people, for you and for me. They don't have to follow those rules. And they extend as far as Parliament. And that's why you see images of Jacob Rees-Mogg lounging on the benches. Like, seriously, if some scally lad turned up in the House of Commons and put his feet up on the furniture, people would be like, what the hell? What are you doing? I mean, that's sacrilegious. It would be all over the front pages of the Sun and the Mail and the Express for weeks afterwards. How dare you, it would say in massive letters. But yeah, Rees-Mogg does it. It's fine. He's rich. He's posh. He doesn't. The rules don't apply to him. So I guess that Lindsay Hoyle was annoyed, first of all, for the disrespect that was shown to Parliament. But then Bill Cash, who's actually a Tory, asked an urgent question about this. And it's a bit of a weird quirk of Parliament, is like, you notice they don't turn around to talk to each other. Everyone has to address the Speaker. So if you're going to say to someone, that person's a ne'er-do-well or whatever, you have to look at the Speaker and say, I think the right honourable gentleman for Telford is a ne'er-do-well. And I don't know if you're allowed to call someone a ne'er-do-well in Parliament, but anyway, it's just a weird quirk. So when a minister is answering a question, they're actually talking to the Speaker. Technically, they're talking to the Speaker. And that's why they'll interrupt what they're saying with Mr. Speaker quite a lot when they can't think of what to say next, Mr. Speaker. So the fact that Kemi Badenoch's response to Bill Cash's question was just so surly. It was literally, well, I'm sorry if you're offended, but, I'm sorry that our scheduling didn't match up to your, requirements. Seriously, that girl was at my school. Woman, I guess, because she's grown up now. But like, if she was like that in my school, she probably would have been expelled for that kind of attitude. I mean, it's just abhorrent to talk to someone in that way and just have so little respect. And that's what it comes down to. The Tories have no respect. They've got no respect for Lindsay Hoyle. They've got no respect for Parliament. They've got no respect for our late Queen, because not only did they prorogue Parliament and lie to the Queen in order to do it, they also had a party the night before she buried her husband alone. That's how much respect this Parliament had for our Queen. And they're continuing on. No, sorry, not this Parliament. This government, this Tory government has got for our Queen. Had for our Queen. And then you've got Charlie. King Charles actually made a statement about how dreadful the illegal immigration bill was. The literal illegal immigration, because it's illegal. It's an illegal bill. You have King Charles. It still sounds weird saying that. You had King Charles. You had the Archbishop of Canterbury. You had the head of the army, former head of the army, all lining up to say this is disgraceful what the Tories are doing. And let's break this down. The Tories have no respect for you, for me, for Parliament, for Lindsay Hoyle, for the King, for the head of the army, for the head of the church. And they have no respect for this country at all. Every single one of those Tories is a traitor to everything that this country should stand for. And when we read the horrific news that today coming out of the United States, that 3/4 of millennials are just living paycheck to paycheck, no savings. That is just insane. People have no money because it's all just been hoovered up by the filthy rich, generally older people. and the young are really suffering right now. And there's more of them. There's more of them coming online every year, and they're not happy. And if we don't sort this situation out pretty quickly, we could start seeing some scenes in this country that you wouldn't believe could happen in this country. Anyway, X-Parrot says, hi from Belgium. I'm in a mean mood, so please don't colour Labour as angels and Tories as devils. Pretend you're not preaching to the converter. Thank you. Facts substantiated with data. Why? Why should I? I'm sorry, but no one else does it. Not a single Tory politician tells the truth. Not a single Tory politician stopped them putting sewage in our rivers in this country. The Tories that are in charge at the moment are responsible for the hardest Brexit they could possibly put forward, which has destroyed us economically for a generation. And I don't have a team of people. I don't have a civil servant working with me to fact check everything that I put on here or say. That's kind of up to you guys. I mean, no offense, but you're able to access the internet, right? Yeah. Okay. So if I make a statement like a survey has just shown that 3/4 of millennials in America are living paycheck to paycheck, please fact check me literally in real time, and your comment will come up on the screen. Cheers. Anyway, I wouldn't be expelled, but I'll be definitely ejected from the room. Diddy must have missed that. Graham, are you ready for Eurovision? Yeah. I'll see you there. I'm not heading there immediately after the show, but I am heading to Liverpool because I'm not going to miss a party like this. King Charles makes me think dog before I think monarch. Yes, I know what you mean. Sorry, late again. That's from Nick and Diff. Aegis says Murray Wilson. Yes, oh God, can't win. 1 in 5 pensioners in the UK are millionaires, and 1 in 5 live in poverty. One of those statements is ageist. The other is not, I guess. I don't know. But it was still painful. Well, of course, beheading monarchs, not doggos. I'm not a monster. Oh my God. What? Don't say that. Oh, poor little doggies. Freckles Puny says, one may say U-turn on most of these 4,000 laws. One may also say it's reality biting the government in the nether regions. Well, yes, that's what a lot of us would like to think. EU Working Time Directive, rest 20 minutes in 6 hours, 24 hours in 7 days, 4-week paid annual leave, and max 8-hour work in 24 hours as night worker. Yeah, that's the EU Working Time Directive, which the government, amongst other things that the government would quite like to get rid of, because that'd be quite a good out, that actually. Oh no, I've lost connection. Are you kidding me? How could I lose connection? Oh, that sucks. Did I lose connection? I'm very sorry if I just lost connection. I'm on a new computer today. It took me a long time to get this all set. I had to put like Windows on it and everything. Started from the beginning. Refresh now. Okay. Buffering here. It's back. Yeah, sorry about that. I lost connection. I don't know how or why. I'm literally connected to the internet. Literally with a wire, with a cable to the internet. It should bloody work. But yeah. Oof, I'll turn that off. Right. That might make it work a little better. What I am enjoying is the fact that I'm looking down at the screen here. I've got a screen. There's a screen here. I'm not just looking into infinity. And it's saying that the CPU is only at like 8.7%. Whenever I did shows on my little laptop, it was like 87% of the CPU. And then when I tried to do something like an animation or something, it just went 100% CPU, blue screen of death. One Angry Pagan says, I really hope Starmer's Labour bring back proper procedure on how they conduct themselves. Yeah, I do hope that happens. Again, look, we can go on and on about how many things Labour have got to do, but also at the same time, if we're going to look at the Tories and say, how the hell did they expect to rewrite 4,000 laws in a year? We've got to look at the Labour Party and go, how the hell are they going to basically rewrite all of these horrific Tory laws that they brought in over the last 13 years and unpick them? And as you saw with Phil, one of Phil's shows earlier in the week, he was talking about this, about priority, and the people's priority is the NHS. It really is the NHS. And that's the thing they're going to have to look at before anything else, before they start looking at protest laws, unfortunately, before they start looking at PR, before they start looking at closer integration with the EU and the stuff that I want, universal basic income. that they've got to fix the house up that the Tories have just ripped apart, partying with their cocaine orgies that the Tories are famous for. You don't understand, Graham. If Brexit isn't working, it's because the Tories didn't Brexit hard enough. It's nothing to do with Brexit slamming into a wall of reality. Yeah, that was one of the arguments put forward on Newsnight last night. Now, I'm going to play you a little clip of this. Now, the problem is with me playing this clip is that I honestly can't hear what's happening. So I'm going to have to guess, I guess. But what I'll do is I'll skip it along to the end. So I might pop in at the wrong point here. I'm sorry if I do. But there was a hell of a ding-dong between Alistair Campbell, this was on Newsnight last night, and Alex Phillips, who was a member of the Brexit Party for a week. And yeah, it's one hell of a ding-dong. It's one hell of a ding-dong. I'll just play you the last. I'll just play you. What can I play you here? I'll just play you the last minute or so. Because she's just talking nonsense at the moment. I'm just playing it back. She's lying, basically saying, "Oh well, I'll get her lies in because it's worth knowing what she's saying." Okay, so here we go.
Mr. Campbell.
This is the last night.
As we heard, he's putting some pressure on the Labour leadership. And Alex Phillips, a member of the Reform Party, which believes the Conservatives have failed to deliver a proper Brexit. Welcome, both of you. Alexandra Phillips, first of all, no single market, no customs union, no free movement. This is the hardest possible Brexit you were going to get.
It's really not. And actually, you know, this whole discussion about the bonfire of 4,000 regulations, which was just a gimmick, wasn't it, in Sunak's campaign, it's a huge distraction from the elephant in the room, which is actually the TCA, the Trade and Cooperation Agreement. And as a result of that, we find ourselves, for instance, unable to give state aid to critical sectors. We find ourselves unable to deviate from the EU in any significant way that could be part of an ambitious post-Brexit industrial strategy. And so, frankly speaking, no, I don't think we've really seen any form of serious Brexit yet. But to go down and get stuck in the mire of this, you know, his photocopy or shredder stunt and the 4,000 regulations.
She's lying.
I mean, that's just pitiful. That's a nonsense. What we should be looking at is forming a comprehensive, solid plan for an independent future.
Right. So it's not independent. The UK is not independent at the moment?
In all but name.
None of you...
Frankly speaking, we're in a situation now where the government should be actually relishing the opportunity to take control of various laws and being able to put into place things, like I said, state aid into critical sectors. We're seeing right now AstraZeneca moving to Ireland. We're seeing car manufacturing moving to China.
OK, Alistair Campbell, your turn.
Will any of these people who fought so hard for Brexit ever face up to their own responsibility and face the fact that what they all promised was a pack of lies, what they all promised was never going to work? None of you have ever brought forward a plan that says this is Brexit and this is how it works without damaging us here in the UK. And when I say you talk nonsense, let me finish. All of those laws that you talked about were enacted by elected British governments and elected British parliaments. The fact that you in Europe couldn't do anything about it underlines that the sovereignty lay here. So all your lies about taking back control, more money for the NHS, sovereignty, immigration, the rest of it, you've failed on.
I knew you were going to come up with, you know, the money for the NHS. Nothing to do with me, not my campaign. And it's very rich, a man who essentially was part of telling lies to invade a country, to accuse me of dishonesty.
I think you might have lost the argument there, my dear. If I may patronise you even more. Honestly.
No, that's it now.
Yes, I will.
No, that's it. No, that's it.
No, sorry. You bring these people on, you never challenge them. You let them talk utter rubbish about Brexit. And it's happened on the BBC for year after year after year.
Okay. I am not going to take that from you. With respect, Mr. Campbell. Thank you.
You don't have to.
Thank you very much for being on the programme.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on the programme. Thank you.
God's sake.
I just love his, for God's sake, at the end there. Bloody hell. But yeah, absolutely sick of it. Why do they allow people to come on and lie? And she's like, oh, well, I was an MEP for a few years. And it's like, you did nothing. You didn't turn up to anything. You were like Sinn Féin not going into Parliament in Westminster and then saying, well, we know how Westminster works. We were there. No, you weren't. You didn't go. When you did go, it was to do a publicity stunt in which you made yourself look like a bunch of arses in front on the world stage. I mean, I have no time and no respect for these people who have destroyed this country. They have destroyed it. And if you don't think that it has been destroyed, just consider this, okay? Our economy is, okay? It is absolutely on its knees. We have not seen any growth in 13 years in this country, any substantial growth. Our economy still hasn't recovered from before the pandemic. We are the slowest recovering economy of any advanced economy in the world. Right now, we have the highest inflation in the whole of Europe. We have incredibly high interest rates, which means that people can't afford to pay mortgages and rents are being put up. There's a cost of living crisis. People are spending 33% on average of their weekly paycheck on rent, on accommodation, on mortgages, which have gone up again. If you have certain types of mortgages, they've gone up again yesterday. Our standing around the world, our political standing is shot. Our social standing, the power of our passports has decreased incredibly. When I was traveling to every country in the world 13 years ago, the British passport was seen as was rated the most powerful passport in the world. Now I don't even think it's in the top 20. Our rivers are filled with sewage. We can't go on holiday and splash around, and we can't go on holiday because we'll be stuck in a traffic jam getting out of the country. If we stay in the country, we can't go for a paddle in the waters around the country because it's full of shit. Because the Tories have done that. The trains don't run on time. The trains are failing miserably. The Trans-Pennine Express finally yesterday was brought back into public ownership because it was so badly run by the company that was running it. That means that 1 in 4 trains are now run by the government, are now government-run enterprises. Just nationalise the whole damn lot. Every single Tory bit of ideology over the last 44 years has been a nightmare. Every single thing that they have foisted on this bloody nation has made things worse. And we are now at our wits' end looking at the destruction that they have wrought on this nation. And we need to stop it. And the only way we're going to stop it, unfortunately, because the British aren't known for going out for a riot like the French, is through the ballot box. And the Tories are trying to mess that up too. They've taken away our freedom of movement. They've taken away our right to protest. You can now be arrested legally before you do anything. They're taking away the right to strike. They want to take away the right to strike for various workers. And now they want to take away your right to vote. They've already taken it away from many, many people last week in the local elections who didn't know they needed ID. There's 2 million people in the country who don't have the valid ID that you need to vote. And then they go, oh, but you need an ID to vote in France. Yeah, you have ID cards. Everyone's got the thing you need to vote in France. In Britain, we don't have the thing that we need to vote. And this is Britain today. They're taking away our rights. They've taken away our money. They've taken away our liberty. They're taking everything from us. And when they're finished taking everything from us, they're going to F off on a private jet to some other country and live on a beach for the rest of their lives, laughing at us with their trotters up, laughing at the stupidity of the British people. How much are you going to put up with it? Because I'm done. I'm done. I'm out. I'm really at my wit's end with these people. And then to have Kimmy Badenoch in Parliament going, well, I'm sorry if you're offended. Oh, sorry. I don't really care. I'm quite posh. I went to a private school. She did. But yeah, painful. Right. Flint Reed, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. They are not a political party. They're an organised gang determined to strip mine the economy and offshore it all. Yeah, absolutely. Who's making the money from the sewage in our rivers? It's overseas investors. The overseas companies that own our water companies. Is it JP Morgan have a major share of Southern Water? Is it JP Morgan? Can someone look that up for me? JP Morgan. Like someone in New York. Someone in New York is sitting there going, I'm making loads of money out of this water company that I part own in the UK. What's this about them pumping all this raw sewage into the watercourses? Oh, well, never mind. It's not my watercourse. I don't care. I live on literally the other side of an ocean. Anyway, Master Templar says, I am too. If the Tories somehow win by some miracle in the general election, my faith in this country is gone. My faith in this country isn't great at the moment. It hasn't been good for 7 years. But yeah, the fact that in question time last night, there was a lot of people in the audience who undecided how they were going to vote. And it's like, how can you not know? How at this point can you be like, no, I definitely know what I'm going to vote. It might be Lib Dem, it might be Labour, it might be Greens. But I'll tell you what it won't be. It won't be the flipping Tories. Anyway, right. Listen, I've given you a little bit of extra time because obviously I was a bit late starting. It is the worst nightmare on this. It's like you set everything up, you put the name in for the feed, you put a little thumbnail in, and you go to start broadcast. So I see your messages. Your messages are coming up, and then you press go live, and it goes no. And you're like, why? Because reasons. You need an extra driver. Oh my word. Anyway, Macquarie part owns Southern Water as well. Oh, great. I have claimed millions of pounds from the water companies. That's from the budget controller. And yeah, people still voting for them. Yeah, but not as many. Not as many. And the good news is, let's just hold on to the one bit of good news that's been coming out recently. Has been shown that younger people who are generally nicer and more sensible than older people, including myself, they are becoming more left wing as they get older, because of obvious reasons that they can't afford to settle down, buy a house, start a family in the current economic climate that's been created by the Tories. Everything should be super cheap right now. We should be living the Star Trek dream right now. Because it's so cheap to make stuff. It's so cheap to get stuff around the world, relatively. And yet we are paying through the nose just to survive. Not to live, just to survive. So I'm going to Liverpool. Yay, because it's Eurovision. I'm going to be back on Monday for another round of Morning Brew. In the meantime, I'm going to try and get the video up of a podcast with me and Phil that we filmed yesterday, in which we talk about what Labour could be doing better in its social media and media strategy. Might get us in a bit of trouble, but never mind. So yeah, big thank you to everyone watching. Big thank you to all my patrons. If you want to become a patron, head over to patreon.com/Labour Social. And big thanks to Phil Morehouse for supplying the PC for me to be able to do this broadcast today. You're an absolute legend, Phil, if you're watching this. Right, so I'm going to leave you with, I hope, I've had to bring all my little videos and my little idents and things over onto the new computer. So I was up quite late last night trying to get this started. Do you imagine like staying up to like 1 a.m. trying to get everything sorted for a show in the morning, and then when you press the go live button, it goes no. Yeah, that happened to me today. Great show. Thanks all, says Flint Mead. And on that lovely note, I'll say thanks for watching and hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.